With the release of Scream 7 fast approaching and filming already begun, a lot of fans are a little bit concerned about the writing aspect of the movie, and rightfully so, because 5 and 6's writing was probably the worst in the franchise. Not bad, but just the worst in comparison to the other ones previously. So, in this video, guys, I want to talk about what they could do differently.
We're in a franchise.
There was someone that posted on Twitter a few days ago talking about them wanting the writing to be a lot better. And I commented on it as well, saying that I completely agree because the writing in Scream 1 and 2 was brilliant. And then after Scream 2, it just went downhill. I know that Kevin Williamson came back for Scream 4, I believe, but it just wasn't as tight as the first two movies. But then you look at Scream 3, 5, and 6 that didn't have Kevin Williamson at all. And it kind of fell flat on its face to the point where they're trying to be too meta and too forced, and it was just in your face.
Legacy characters, cannon fodder at this point. Usually brought back only to be killed off in some cheap bid for nostalgia.
As part of this conversation, Zach Cherry also posted that, which I 110% agree with him. He said that Scream 6 homages When a Stranger Calls, which it does, and other movies. He said Scream 2 homages He Knows You're Alone, which it does, and other horror movies. But his good point about 3, 4, 5, and 6 was these movies, 3 to 6, homage Scream from 1996. So it's like they're trying to run on the success of the first movie and they just simply can't do it because they keep going back to what was successful and trying to run on the success of that first film, which you can only do to a certain extent. That's why the first two movies are mostly considered the best in the franchise because the writing was tight, it was still fresh at the time. But when you get to a fourth, a fifth, a sixth movie in a franchise, you will start to repeat yourself because where else can you go? So I think with Scream 7, they have to do something different. They can't keep going back and doing the same thing over and over again. Be self-referential, try to reference other things that are popular now and do similar to what they've done with the first two movies. You can only get away with that for so long. At one point, you're going to have to freshen it up and do something completely different. And that's why I'm hoping that Kevin Williamson can take a part in this. No, he's not writing the film, but he's directing it. He will look at a script, he will look at the writing, and he'll go, maybe if we just do this, would that be okay for me to do that with my direction? And I'm sure they'll be happy with that. And if that happens and it's a happy medium, we could be looking at a better written script. I think one of the problems with audiences today is a lot of the audience today need to be force-fed certain things that happen in movies. With Scream 1 and 2, it was natural because the fans were watching and going, oh, yeah, brilliant. We need to think about it. Whereas now, when you look at films like Scream 6, the dialogue in the movie was gobsmacking. When you hear things like this,
God damn it. I got it wrong again.
people of the older generation are just going like this, oh my goodness. But then younger audiences might go, oh, wow, that's fantastic, man. And you're just like, why? You know, it's just not good. So I think you need to get back to something original. Go back to the roots of Scream 1 and 2, but don't copy Scream 1 and 2. Don't go parallel to Scream 1 and 2 like Scream 5 did. Like that example, you've got Drew Barrymore talking about what's your favourite scary movie at the beginning, and then you've got Tara, played by Jenna Ortega, doing the exact same thing, but doing it with a movie that's popular today. So that even though they're talking about different films, it's the exact same scenario. And that's what Zach Cherry's talking about. They're just copying Scream from 1996. They're not copying The Babadook. They're copying Scream. It's not just myself and Zach that have this opinion. I'm sure there's a lot of people with the same opinion as us. And it doesn't mean that we're right. And it doesn't mean that that's what they're going to do for Scream 7. We're just trying to give you some examples of why we think the writing for movies like Scream 5 and Scream 6 just weren't up to scratch. They were fine. They were serviceable for fans of Scream. They were fine for the new generation of fans of these Scream films, which is absolutely fine because every movie does it. But when you're going on to your seventh movie in a franchise with characters who are coming back from Scream 1 again, or at least from the legacy sequel, the legacy characters from 1, 2, and 3, you want the script to be something different this time, something that we haven't seen before. Hopefully they can do that. Yes, Be meta whenever you want, but don't overdo it like they've done with some of the characters in the previous two films. Make it more natural again if you're going to do it. Now, you might call me a hypocrite for saying I love Randy, because in Scream 3, Randy does give us an over meta moment with the VHS tape that his sister shows Sydney. I agree with that. That's why Scream 3 wasn't the best in writing. That's one of the ones that I didn't like in terms of the writing and the dialogue. But I think because Randy was such a great character, everybody wanted to see Randy come back. It was a desperate moment for the franchise just to give us Randy again. I'll forgive them for that because I also love Randy. But with the characters that we got after that, with their meta moments, they just weren't good enough. So what are your thoughts, guys? Do you want to see more meta moments like you saw in movies like Scream 5 and 6? Or do you want them to tone it down a little like we got in the first two movies? Leave your comments down below. Let me know your thoughts and I'll talk to you soon.
Oh my God, are you guys okay? I know who the killer is. It's Ethan and Bailey.
I'll be right back.
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back!